For our course project, we were asked to develop an information system for a bike sharing company. An information system is an organized structure of hardware, software, and people that can collect and process data that can then be analyzed and distributed. The first step in developing a proper information system framework is to identify what the company and user need the system to do. Users need to be able to use the system to rent a bike, pay for their services, and know that what information they share is safe and secure. For instance, sharing their credit card information and their personal information. As a company, they need it to do everything that the user needs it to do, but also store and organize this data so that they can understand their consumers better. As an example, they could store location data to have a better understanding of where their high-trafficked areas are. Now, to meet these needs, the system will need a server that contains the created software for the company. Then there will be a router that connects to a firewall, and each docking station will have its own router. For a backup, each docking station will have a 4G wireless connection card. This way, if there is an issue with any connections, the docking stations do not go offline and have another avenue of getting internet to the station for the consumers to use. Another thing, there will also probably be battery backups so that it mitigates, being able to go offline. There will be a relational database design within the server as well that can store and collect consumer information, payments, rentals, the locations used, and the bike inventory. Because there is a lot that goes on into the information system, including the company's information, payment information, and consumer information, security will be a high risk. To ensure the safety of all the data, there will need to be security protocols in place. There will be an information security team that is responsible for all the system's updates and monitoring all activity on the server. So when there is unwanted activity, they can boot them out and patch anything up. Their main responsibility, though, will be to ensure that there is no chance of cybercrime and to help mitigate an attack. They need to ensure that the firewall only allows access from the kiosk and other improved systems and nothing else. Even when the kiosk goes to access the firewall, it should have to authenticate to guarantee that no one else can slip in. Lastly, there will also need to be encryptions on everything, so that even when an attacker tries to access this information, they can't just easily read it. We also need to be concerned about actual theft from the kiosks themselves. They will be out on the streets, making them an easy target. A way to mitigate damage would be to ensure that no actual, personally identifiable information is saved or stored on the kiosks themselves, and what information is on it is encrypted. As soon as the Information Systems Department is made aware, they could then cut off the kiosk access to the server to ensure no further damage could be done. Once all the systems are up and running and they are secure, next, we'll need a way for the company to store and organize all of its data, and this can be done with a data structure. A data structure is a format that helps organize all the information that has been input into the system. Once the data is structured and has the categories it fits into, the company can then organize it within a database or on various tables. For instance, they can use strings to search for specific information to organize and pool so that it can then be analyzed. So like with this information, user ID, name, station 1, station 2, etc., the ride duration or subscription status, you could select things like user ID from the consumer database where subscription status equals active, and then it could pull all the active users so that you can see who is utilizing your information. You could also pull the non-active users and then kind of compare and contrast how many consumers you're losing or gaining. You could also search what locations are being used and how long consumers are on the bike. Another thing that will help the system is utilizing various APIs or application programming interfaces. This can be utilized within the system like a GPS or weather data. This brings more value to the system and sets it apart from other companies. A user will most likely go with a company that can give them more bang for their buck while still only utilizing one application. So prior to renting a bike, the consumer can look up the weather for the journey so that they can properly dress or bring a change of clothes. Or they can utilize the GPS to help find other kiosks and track their trips. All of these things together would make up a good start for a solid information system and a bike sharing company, or for a bike sharing company.